This is Morten from Inkish. I have the pleasure to actually talking to Jeff, who works for Keypoint Intelligence. And a couple of reasons why it's a pleasure. First of all, he has just given a fantastic presentation that I really liked and I would like to talk about. But also because a few years ago, Jeff was casted and partners, who was very well recognized in the packaging industry, sold their company to Keypoint, or merged your company with Keypoint Intelligence. So I spoke to Kevin
Yes.
a couple of times, but not with you. So Jeff, welcome on Inkish.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So flying in from America to Cambridge.
Absolutely.
This is the old world, right?
It's a pleasurable part of the world. I enjoy coming here. So absolutely.
I mean, you have, as you said in your presentation, you have like a financial background, right?
Primarily in economics, yes. So I like to joke, that's a good lead in, that as an economist, I'm never wrong, only timing is off. So.
And when you mention this, is that because, I mean, of course, when you invest in technology, whether this is this or other kinds of technology, I think that having a, let's say, a money perspective on your investments is always the best approach. But I also think that in this industry, there are so many people that invest because of emotions, right?
Very astute observation and the rest of it. And, you know, when you're making an investment of this magnitude and this size, the investment has to make both business as well as financial sense. And many converters today struggle with the financial piece. They see the value that digital can provide, and that's why you get the comment, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So the challenge to the industry is time to accelerate the financial piece of that as it relates to the ROI, make that clear, then we begin to accelerate and grow.
It's funny, you also in your presentation spoke about the productivity, right? I can't help think about, because the American magazine Printing Impression, they have the top 400 every year, and I always tease them because basically they always rate the companies based on revenue. So I took the revenues divided with the number of employees to get a productivity, and it shuffled the list entirely, right?
And that's a challenge. Morten, I come back to the business fundamentals. I've managed many manufacturing businesses in my prior career and the rest of it. So to me, where and how does digital print connect with business fundamentals, and what's not going to change in the industry? What's going to be with us from a business fundamental? And primarily within packaging, regardless of segment, it's built around the delivery of high volume at low cost. The challenge again is where and how does digital printing fit that operating environment? That's not going to change.
No, maybe not directly, but I can't help think about that. At least the claim that I say to myself and to whoever listens to me, and also what I see when I meet some printing companies in the world, that the paradigm shift of going from, let's say, mass market to mass customization actually brings the value up per piece of sales, right? So sometimes when you talk about having the low cost, it's also about seeing the value from a branding perspective in a little bit wider perspective, I guess, right?
I would agree, but then it comes back to what's the right technology to address. So if it's packaging customization and you're changing text within an image or barcodes within an image, do you necessarily need a full-scale production press, or is it a retrofit system on an existing piece of equipment? And it can go either or.
Yeah.
So the production equipment, what's the true role and value that it's going to provide, and how does it fit into a converting operation?
And of course, you're also right in the perspective that, you know, whatever the market looks like, you know, customers, they always need to secure that they have the best profitability on whatever they produce. So the value creation is very independent from product to product, basically, right? I can't help think about that with your presentation. Also, Matt Brooks here at AGFA, he also presented you as doing a presentation without any PowerPoint presentations supporting it. When you work with Keypoint Intelligence and also previously with Kostet and Partners, the research that goes into having the understanding of the market, how vast is it? And I mean, how is it? Is the data sufficient for having, let's say, real statistic value on the predictions of how the market is developing?
Yeah, the data is there. I did not present data. As Matt and I were talking, I didn't want to be redundant to what Sean was presenting. And so from a data standpoint, so it really comes down to Sean wanted my voice to be heard because within the analyst or consulting community, I'm a bit of the contrarian. And I view that role enthusiastically to come back and say, to challenge.
Maybe that's why Sean, when I interviewed him, he said he agreed with almost everything you said, right? Is that because you are the contrarian, or?
Absolutely, and I think that's healthy and needed in the industry, is to hear opposing viewpoints and opposing angles as we go through and look at this.
I take that it also gives you, let's say, an open curiosity towards changes in the market that may not be the direction now, but because you have the ears open, you get those inputs, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I've been in this as a consultant now since 2002. Every day that I spend with a converter or a brand engaged in discussions, I learn something, and it's an aha moment for me. And then I have to go back and say, did I miss it over the past 23 years, or has something dramatically changed and I need to change my tune? So that's, to me, the true value of something as a participant or an attendee of a session like this. How many people can you engage with to get their viewpoint? So if I need to modify or change mine, I at least have the input, and we've had that conversation.
You were quite positive about the AGFA SpeedSet here because of the measures it has, basically, the metrics, right? I was just thinking that, also with being with Keypoint Intelligence, I guess that you sometimes have, let's say, secrets from all the vendors before the rest of the roads get them. But I mean, one thing is that AGFA is now the first to become like, breaking the 10,000 barriers per hour. But that is a direction that everybody needs to get into anyway. So how do you see that in the nearby future from a competitive perspective?
This solution for the higher volume producers is absolutely needed and necessary. And where I get excited is it's the first evidence that the dream is possible. So this was the dream among many converters to get to this threshold of opportunity and output. So the dream is becoming a reality. I would caution to say, in order to participate in digital print for folding carton, does it need to be this? If I'm a small folding carton converter.
Oh yeah, that totally changes things.
Totally changes.
Yeah. But I was more thinking that it's a Drupal year next year. It's like everybody who wants to be in this game know that they need to do something that has the size of the sheet. They know they need to have the, let's say, the accuracy of colors and repetitivity into it. They have to have probably water-based technology. They need to have the speed. I mean, so this is just like, not just because I know it's an achievement, but this is where the market needs to go if they want to be digital in that segment, right?
In that high volume segment, absolutely. And you bring up a good point about Drupa. For those who are exhibiting at Drupa, don't put digital print for folding carton. You better get specific as to what segment of folding carton. Otherwise, you confuse the message to the industry, and you don't get an accurate view from the right industry participants about your product or solution. So the more specific we can get in terms of this, very easy to profile and say this is suitable for companies of X size, X output, and the rest. Remaining solutions are going to have to do the same if it's different than this.
Last question. When you see technology like this, do you still get excited?
Absolutely, and let me come back I started this journey in late 2020 with Inland Container. And at that time, we had a concept or a prototype press for digital printing that, in essence, took a flexo press, put it upside down, and put Kodak Versamark printhead. So it was a true concept press. Over the course of the next 18 months, I probably had the opportunity to bring in 200 of Inland's largest brand customers.
Wow.
So my excitement is due to their excitement. And keep in mind how rudimentary and the rest, but they could understand the significance of the change and what it could deliver to their business. 20 some years later, still working on the delivery, but the excitement in terms of the opportunities and possibilities is as high then as it was now.
And here I was just about to think that when I asked an economist for a very simple question, I would get a very simple answer, right?
Never. It'll never happen.
Super. Great to meet you. Thank
Very
you very much,
good.
sir.
Thank you.